Good evening. I'm going to go over the watch list for the week of August 24th. It should be hopefully be a more of a volatile week than it has been the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks have been very choppy, so hopefully something will move the market this week. And obviously Trump had his press conference with the plasma. Then we have news with Kim Jong-un being in a coma, so maybe we'll see some action this week. So let's just see. If you're not in the Discord room, the link is in the description or in the bio. Okay, so I got Roku up first. Now, Roku's on my bear side. Actually, the watch list this week is pretty thin. It's very small, so I'm only going to concentrate on half a dozen tickers and just trade them until the market starts getting out of the chop and actually pick a direction and does something, because the just too choppy. But anyways, Roku's up on the bearish side, as you can see here on the daily. I mean, Roku's just been channeling between 145 and 152, or 152, and you get a head and shoulders here on the daily. So I am looking at on the short side underneath 140. Underneath 146, I would say, and if that does end up breaking down, I mean, it has gotten to 143 and has quickly gotten bought up. But we'll have to see if this head and shoulders on the daily actually works out. And if it does, there's a gap down here in the 135 area, so you could see a gap fill it down to the 135 on Roku if that happens. Now, if it doesn't happen and Roku decides to break out, I'd watch it over 152 for a push to probably, though, it's going to have trouble getting over the 157 area, then probably 160. But like I said, there's a head and shoulders right there, and I prefer to watch that end of it on the short side. Baba is the next one. Baba, I mean, it looks like it's going to break out on the daily, and it certainly can. But every time it gets overextended on the hourly outside the candle channel, chopping around like that, it likes to pull back. So I would like to see it pull back to at least the 261. So I'd watch it underneath 265.50 for a push down to 261. And if it gets some, downside momentum, if the market's bad, so 258, I definitely watch for that area. But also remember, has like an ascending wedge triple top going here on the daily, so it could break out. And if it does break out, I would definitely watch it over 268. And 268 is the all-time high, and then you have to go for the fat round numbers, which would be 270, 275, and 280 if it does break out, if the market does happen to take off. The next one, the last one I have on the bearish side, it's pretty small this week, because I don't know, I think that the market will probably end up getting pushed up a little more before it actually does come back. So the futures are up. The ES did touch 3401, so it did break all-time high again. So we'll just have to see if this is going to be a false breakout. They're going to push a little bit and just send it down, and depends on what news drops. But we'll get to SPY when we get to SPY. But I would watch. You look at the daily, UPS has just been chopping around in this area of 156 to 162. It can't get out of that range like Roku. It's just chopping around, but I definitely do like it underneath the 156. And if it does get underneath 156, I would definitely look for it to come down to 146, and possibly, if it has any like sell-off strength, test gap support at the 135. Well, we'll have to see if it will actually break down from this consolidation and not take off. So that is on that side. Now BA I have on the bullish side. BA is gonna I know BA has been choppy too, but they get news coming out eventually, probably the next month or so, about the 747 Max and stuff like that. So I would imagine things will start taking off from that. Plus, if you look at the daily, you have on the daily, you have this support right here that it loves to hold. It's 167 area. I mean, it did dip below right here, but it shot up quickly through. So, I mean, it is a descending triangle, if you want to call it that, right there. If you want to just continue it out to there, or just mark it to here. It is a bearish look, but it is oversold on the daily, 4 hour, and the 1 hour. So I would look for it to reverse I'd go over the 169, push to the 173 to even 178, 180 area. And if it can get over the 180, the 180 area has been the area it's been really tough to break on the daily. If it does manage to break that, it's probably going to shoot to 190. So I definitely would watch BA for reversal. Netflix, I know I've been like hammering down on Netflix and just saying Netflix doesn't belong up by 500, and I still don't think it does personally. But what I'm seeing, the weekly, I'll bring up the weekly really quick on right here because I'm looking at it on a different chart. Now the weekly looks like it's getting ready to cross over on the MACD, but I mean it did right here, and when it started the crossover it popped, and same right here. These MACD crossovers on the weekly have been like fake out, so I'm not going to pay too much attention to that. And you do have like a little head and shoulders, left head and right shoulders. I mean there is a little head and shoulder pattern, but this is also Netflix. It's MACD's getting ready to curl up on the daily. So, you know, Netflix just always defies the odds and just doesn't seem to care. So I would watch it over 493 for a push to 500. If it manages to break 500, I see next area is 510 to even 525. So we'll have to see if Netflix does that. Going against the head and shoulders, but I've noticed the last few weeks head and shoulders plays haven't been very accurate. They haven't been very dependable. So usually they're very dependable, but it's been nothing but fake out traps and chop the last 2 weeks. So just have to play accordingly. So when is the next one? When, I mean, you get the 1 hour, you get like a flag right here on the daily, you know, on the 1 hour and the 30 minute, and it held above the Keltner on the 1 hour and 30 in the daily. So I would watch it over 84 to push over to 86, and if it gets over 86, you get next area be, you know, 80, 87, 50, 88 area, then 90. So I would definitely watch that. Now if it does manage to break 90, I think it has a good possibility of running to 100 on win, unless bad news comes out with the casinos shutting down or something like that. I'm not saying anything will shut down, but I personally think that we're going to see another shutdown mid-September, end of September, when the kids go back to school and all schools nationwide are in session, and I think it's going to just ramp up again, and not unless for some reason there's a vaccine actually works, or not one of Trump's little dream things he's got going on. But Amazon is the next one. I thought Amazon was going to take off on Friday, and it didn't. But anyways, you get an ascending triangle right here on Amazon. Over 3,300, it's going to go over to 3,320, and all-time high is 3,344. And if it does manage to break that, which it probably will, it's probably going to go to 3,400. So I would definitely watch that. The daily is ascending triangle. You know, same with the weekly right there, the top, double top, and it's pressure's going up. So, but you have a little bit of a divergence on the weekly, bearish divergence right there. But Amazon doesn't care about stuff like that. So we'll watch Amazon to break out. Facebook is the next one. Facebook, I mean, same thing. I mean, actually, I think Facebook has more value than Netflix, so I would watch Facebook to end up breaking out over all-time high, which is 278. So I would watch it over this rate here, which is 270. Does manage to get over 270. It's going to go to 275 and go to all-time highs, and probably push to 280. So I would definitely watch for Facebook for a push if the market's strong. Now SPY, I'm not going to put SPY up because there's too many lines. I'll show you why. Oops, one thing. Yeah, see, I have so many lines here, it's hard to see. So I'll put SPX up so you can actually see. I mean, it's just every dip is getting bought. We're at the all-time highs on SPX. So I would imagine they're going to push it over 3,400, which they already have. The ES is over 3,400 now. So let's see if they push it a little more. They could gap it up tonight, and they could drop it tomorrow. gap it up overnight, and at open tomorrow have a sell off, then like rebound midday. That's been like the theme for the week, where it will rebound. I mean, it will gap up overnight, sell off at open, and it will fully recover and make new daily highs at the end of the day. So that's been the theme. I would imagine it's going to continue to do that. As far as SPY, I mean, if it does get over the let's see, I would probably watch for 345. If it actually holds the 340 or gets back above it, 345, and I could see them pushing to 350 possibly. So 350 is not out of the cards. I mean, they're not going to make it easy on everybody. Right about now, everyone's probably getting ready to short it, and it's going to end up causing a short squeeze. So I wouldn't be surprised if they push this thing to 345 or 350 before they actually dump it. And so I would definitely watch for that short squeeze, because everyone and their mother is going to be shorting this week. So whenever things seem too obvious, expect the opposite to happen. Disney, oh, that's the weekly. Disney's the last one. I mean, it is bear flag. I mean, bull flagging right here above the Keltner channel on the daily. That's oversold on the daily. So it did provide an inside candle on Friday. So I mean, it does have like a descending triangle going on here on the 1 hour, and it could certainly drop to the 124 area, 123 area, which is gap support from earnings. So that scenario is there, but if it does manage to break out over 128, I would take it to 128 to 130 to 132 to even. Is that all-time high? No, it's not. All-time high is 153. 150 would be a gap fill. Let me pull that up. You can see there's a gap right here, and it needs to be filled at 140. So it certainly could blow through that. As you can see, you got a cup and handle on the weekly, but it already did test the gap resistance right here. So it pulled back a little bit. It could shoot up to 140. So that is in the cards. But also remember, there's a descending triangle on the hourly. It could dip down to 124 before actually coming back up to 130. So be aware of the scenario that's there and trade accordingly, and be able to change your positions on the drop of a dime. The ones that are on the bullish side could easily become very bearish if something bad happens in the market, or news comes out, or whatever reason something happens. Just be prepared that things can change very quickly. And make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And obviously, if you're not in the room, the link is in the description, the bio. And that's going to do it for the watch list. Thanks for watching.